a song, for instance, like Mariner's Apartment Complex, which is a song I put out last year.
Right.
I think that, I'm trying to think, but I think that may have started by him just playing a series of chords and me just kind of, we always record the entire session.
On your 91X here in San Diego, it's Hilary with Lana Del Rey on the phone.
Hi.
Hi, Lana. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Is it kind of a crazy week, like when you have a record coming out Friday? Are you just like scheduled to the gills right now, or how's your week going?
I mean, considering most of the time I am, just like outside running around and kind of writing. Yeah, like this week is definitely different from everything else. I wasn't even thinking about it until Monday, and now I'm like, wow, yeah, it's coming out.
Yeah, and probably a lot to like talk to this person, now go here, go do this. I mean, but you kind of strike me, and this is obviously just me from the outside, but you seem like maybe, and maybe I should just ask, like, do you do your best when you are busy? And this is going back like 10 or 15 years. You have released, so many records, so many songs, so many collaborations, tons of touring. Like, is that kind of your default?
That's a really good question. Well, I do my best when I'm in California. So, like, kind of like from San Fran down to San Diego. Like, I do, especially because, like, I've got a lot of girlfriends sort of all the way up the coast. So I kind of like just traveling and writing in between. If like, for instance, this record, Jack Antonoff is in town. But I mean, actually, yeah, I think I do really like to be busy. It's kind of when it comes time to actually talk about the record that I sort of pull back and I'm like, what am I doing? Like, where are we going with all of this? But then I have to just kind of, stay in the moment and be like, it's just about whether the songs are good. I care so much just about whether the melodies are good, and so I like try and focus on that too.
Sure, absolutely. You mentioned like getting to travel and then writing, and I do want to ask about working with Jack, but just for you in general, like, yeah, when do you write your songs? Like, is it kind of always like when the mood strikes, you just, record something into your phone, or do you have kind of more of like I like to be home or I like to be wherever, and that's when I'm at my best as far as, getting really creative and writing stuff?
Well, before Born to Die, I was like, oh my gosh, I couldn't put like my pen down. So I was writing all the time and loving it. And then I think maybe about like 4 years ago, I kind of started writing only when I was in the studio. So when I met Jack, I wasn't writing at all. And then we started working together, and it was just going so well that I ended up just kind of staying in the studio with him. But other than that, I wasn't writing at all, like at home or anywhere else. But now that we've been done for like a few months, I'm writing again. But I never write at home. I always write. I mostly write in the car. Like, I have a little dictation thing, and I actually just keep it on for any time I'm driving, because that seems to be for me whenever I'm thinking about it the most.
That's interesting. And do you have like a favorite drive maybe that you like to take? You mentioned going up and down the coast to see your girlfriends and stuff. Like, is there a favorite route that you'll go jump on PCH and like,
Yeah, well, I'm in Oceanside like probably every 3 days.
You're kidding.
Yeah, so between Newport and Oceanside is where I write the most.
Oh my gosh!
But I live in LA, but I stay there. I stay there at night, and then I drive home for the day. Like, if I just to see, because most of my girlfriends are like right in the middle of town here. I'm in LA right now, but yeah. So I'm kind of, because I really need and like for things to be like the most low key. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, everything has to feel super normal, easy, casual. And I have to be able to find like a little cafe that I could write at, you know. So I got a couple little spots where, you know, like the owners are really sweet and they like, you know, give me a little table, leave me alone, and yeah. But it's, you know, it's been kind of an adventurous writing year.
Yeah, I'm sure. I just have to throw in a little plug for Wrench and Rodent. Next time you're in Oceanside, if you haven't had, I don't know if you.
No, right, that's great.
Yeah, I don't know if you eat meat or fish, but they serve sushi, and it is mind blowing. It's called Wrench and Rodent in Oceanside. So you got to check that out.
Oh my God, that's so great! Yes,
it's really, really good, really good. Okay, so that's so funny, and I can imagine you now like cruising through Camp Pendleton, where it's just wide open spaces, and I love that. That's very cool. I want to circle back to Jack Antonoff because this album, Norman Rockwell, and we're not live. I can edit all this. But this new album is correct me if I'm wrong, but it's your first time working with Jack as far as writing and producing a record. Is that right?
Yeah, I met him a year and a half ago, and that was when we started working together. And yeah, I had never met him before, but we got into studio maybe a day or two after I met him, and I was really, really surprised at how good he was, especially because he's so young. Yeah, I don't think I've ever worked with anyone who was like in their early 30s. I mean, maybe a little bit, but he just seems so young. So when he sat down at the piano and he just kind of started playing some like freestyling some chords, I was really, really shocked. He's great.
And is it like a real collaborative process? Was it you and he sort of equally writing the songs together? And because I truly don't know like how it works. Or do you write the songs and then he fleshes them out? Like, how does that go?
Yeah, I think it's probably different with every producer, but for me, the melodies and the words are mine, and I don't really play anything anymore. So, like, you know, he'll definitely flesh the entire thing out production-wise. Mm-hmm. But, you know, like, for each song I'll have like a instinct about whether it should just be acoustic or whether we should make it, you know, bigger or more contemporary. But usually I will bring him my melody and words, and he'll start playing along with it. But for a song, for instance, like Mariner's Apartment Complex, which is a song I put out last year,
right.
I'm trying to think, but I think that may have started by him just playing a series of chords and me just kind of, you know, we always record the entire session just in case anything, you know, good happens within the room. But I think that's when I just started. I had some words, and I thought, you know, I'd like to put these words to those chords, but you still have to find your own melody, like over that progression. And usually it's a pretty different melody from whatever the chords are. But then, like for another song, for instance, like this other one called "Hope Is a Dangerous Thing for a Woman Like Me to Have."
Yeah, I love that one.
I really liked that one too, and that was like a song that I had written. I'd say almost in its entirety over a couple of years, just slowly kind of piecing little phrases together. And so I would like a song like that I brought to him in its entirety, like on my phone, on my voice notes.
Do you know, ever say like he'll come to you with something and you're like, absolutely not, Jack, not doing that?
Sometimes, but it's pretty rare. Like every now and then he'll have something that's super bombastic and really like 80s, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe we should write that for you. And actually, that's what we ended up doing. We ended up writing a couple of things for his Bleachers album, which was good for me too, because I think sometimes I get stuck on my own stuff. So, the best thing for that is just to like literally focus on someone else's thing. It gives me so much perspective.
Right, kind of get out of your own head. That sort of leads me to the Sublime cover then, because that's one we're playing here at 91X. I'm on the phone with Lana Del Rey right now, and I want to know like kind of where that came from, but I have to tell you, like when I first heard, okay, she's doing a Sublime cover, and our friends at Interscope were like, this is going to be the next single, and Sublime in San Diego is like,
Oh, girl. I know.
So we were like, all right, let's hear it. And then when we heard it, of course, we loved it. And now
I hear you.
We're playing it, but I was a little like, okay, this better be really good, because if it's not, like, you can't really mess with Sublime down here.
I'm screwed. I know. Trust me, I know. I love Sublime. I mean, when John asked me, who runs the label, well, the way it came about was the Interscope was producing a documentary about Sublime's life story.
Right.
So they called me and asked me to do a cover of a couple of songs, but probably doing time. And I said, honestly, John, like, this is one of those things that if it goes bad, like, I feel like I personally will not recover, because it would just be so, like, embarrassing. I love this band.
Yeah.
And he was like, but then he did say, like, that Bradley's former wife did want me to do it.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, even if I don't ever tell anybody that, like, I would know. And that's like a little sign that, like, it doesn't really matter how it turns out. Like, I just should do it. So, and I also did it with, like, this guy that I had never worked with before, Andrew Watt, who's been producing a lot of records lately. And that was really interesting, too, because his process is super different. Like, he's really fast and kind of does everything in one cut and in one take and puts the song together really quickly. So, yeah, there were a lot of little unknowns there, but, I mean, it was fun.
Yeah, I can imagine. And it turned out beautifully. It is a really cool interpretation of the song, and it definitely, you can tell that you care about the song.
Yeah, I do. Oh, my God, I do. It was risk.
Yeah, and we also heard that the Sublime family had really given you their blessing and their support, so that is extra cool. Absolutely.
Yeah, I got a little thumbs up there.
Yeah, I think that's important. So listen, I know you got to keep going because you got this record, Norman fucking Rockwell, comes out on Friday, but we're super excited to see you October 11th here at the Open Air Theater in San Diego. It's going to be a really cool venue to see you play live in, because it's a little more intimate than the last time you were in town when you played in Chula Vista.
Yeah, I can't believe I even played that venue. That was so crazy.
It's huge, but no, I think this one's going to be perfect. There's trees on the side. It's just, it's going to be an awesome show. And
that's so cool.
And so what's next? Because your U.S. tour isn't very big, and you have like a few European dates next year. But are you planning like a more extensive tour, or what's
yeah,
next?
we're gonna go through in a much smaller way. Just do like a larger theater tour through the Midwest in April.
Oh, cool.
So there's that. Just kind of putting everything together like at different times, and yeah, that's kind of it at the moment. Just had my focus on this stuff, and then did a couple of like little cover songs for some films.
Yeah.
So I've just been, there's been a lot of music in my life this last year, and it's been really unexpected, and it's been so much fun.
Well, that's so good to hear, because I know your fans are grateful for it. We're happy and appreciative, and I would tell you good luck, but I don't feel like you need it, Lana. So thank you.
Listen, I'll take that luck.
Right on. Good luck, girl. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
It was nice talking with you, and we'll see you in San Diego October 11th, or maybe we'll spy you in Oceanside one of these days.
I know. I'm out there.
Take care, Lana.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I kind of feel like I have a new BFF, Lana Del Rey, here on 91X. It's Hilary. Remember, October 11th, that's her next 91X show at the Open Air Theater.